Hey folks, welcome back to number 2. So we've got this linear inequality and I gotta see which of these potential intervals are the solution. So I'm gonna do my best to simplify this and figure out how to isolate Q. And the first thing I notice is that if I look at the right side of this inequality, 6.7 and 4.3 are like terms because they're both constant. So I'm just gonna actually add those together. And you could crunch this number on your calculator, but 6.7 and 4.3 is 11. So I'm going to simplify this linear inequality to negative 5.3 is going to be greater than or equal to 11 plus q. All right, and then if I want to get q all by itself, I'm going to subtract 11 from both sides. All right, and by design, this cancels out. And negative 5.3 minus another 11 will be negative 16.3. That's going to be, oops, I didn't want to switch that. I want it to be greater than or equal to q. And so once I realize that I'm dealing with a negative 16.3, right, that's the number I'm getting, I'm going to actually just rule out B and rule out D. Those are not going to be my answers. And this is kind of a strategy in multiple choice questions, right? Like at a certain point, maybe you can start to rule out some of the answers so that if you didn't know the correct answer, you could at least make a more educated guess. You have a little bit more data. Now, I need to rework this. For me and my personal preference, I like having the variable on the left side. Right now, the variable's on the right side. So what I want to do is I want to write this over here, but keep in mind, the little, I don't know, the vertex here, the little triangle, oh, it's not quite a triangle, but the inequality is pointing towards Q. So when I reverse that, right, even though this says greater than or equal to, when I flip it around, I'm going to rewrite that as a less than or equal to. And that's going to be Q is less than or equal to negative 16.3. And when I think about that on the number line, okay, I'm going to think about negative 16.3, right, if this is Q here. I'm going to put a closed dot on it because it's greater than or equal to, well, excuse me, less than or equal to, and I'm going to shade everything to the left here, right? So ultimately, if I want to turn this inequality or this interval, or excuse me, this little graph into an interval, I'm going to think I want all the numbers from negative infinity, that's my lowest, to my highest of negative 16.3. So if I want to write that as an interval, I'm going to start with negative infinity, low, up to my high of negative 16.3, and I'm going to put a bracket. Now, let's just review here. Infinities always get parentheses, all right? So if you have either a positive or negative infinity, this will always be a parentheses. The reason I put the bracket here was because this was a less than or equal to symbol, all right? If this had strictly been less than, I would have had an open dot here and I would have had a parentheses here. But this was less than or equal to, so notationally, we put the closed dot here, and we put the bracket here, and that makes my answer C. All right, thanks so much. Bye.